Good morning and welcome to The Point. It is Friday, April 9th, 2021. Thank you to all our viewers and listeners, whichever platform you're using. We're going to get straight into it. We are into what I would call emergency mode. I have joining us, before we get into Open Line Friday, which is usually what happens on this day, I have joining us is SEDIMA representative, Superintendent Sylvan McIntrye. He is in St. Vincent and the Grenadines right now as we continue to look on at Le Soufrière. And just before we started, he informed me that the volcano has erupted. Good morning, Superintendent McIntrye.
Good morning to you, Blossom. Good morning to your listeners, viewers, followers. It's my pleasure to link you up this morning with any little update I can provide with.
Appreciate it, because I know it is emergency time in St. Vincent's. What's the latest you can provide for us this morning now that we have word that the volcano has officially erupted?
Well, just a follow through from yesterday, following the pattern that the volcano followed for the last couple of weeks. Indication was that it was going to get to an explosive stage sometime or the other, and it could not have been told exactly when. And this is one of the times we think that our scientists had the process right and the warning periods were followed. And yesterday, the Prime Minister declared an emergency evacuation situation where people started the process. And as it stands now, just under 3,000 persons are sheltered across in the safe zone here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. As you can imagine, the national emergency system kicked in and we worked throughout the night following the activities. And just a while ago, we were advised that there was an eruptive, explosive eruption, sending plumes very high into the air. And ashfall is one of the fallout that can be expected in St. Vincent, the Grenadines, and possibly some of the neighboring islands around.
Now that we've had the word of the explosive eruption, what does that mean? And I know last night with the evacuation, there were still some hiccups in it, but was everybody evacuated from the red zone in time up to this morning?
The process is still continuing. Some persons started the evacuation process quite early, self-evacuating, and then the national system kicked in and facilitated people into the shelters. That obviously had its teething problem, but the plan that we actually walked through, it kicked in really nicely and it was followed through, and people are beginning to fill in through the process. Now that it has gone through a next phase, the worst that it can actually happen, an explosive session. We are now about to go into our briefing and to chart the next course for the safety of those who still need to be evacuated and for the other hazards associated with the eruptive ability and capacity of the volcano.
So one of the things I wasn't too sure about last night in terms of the evacuation, where were those people evacuated to? I know they were evacuated to some parts of St. Vincent, and I've also seen reports of evacuations to other islands as well.
Right. So people are concerned in terms of the geographical location of St. Vincent and where the volcano it's located more to the north of the island. So you have the leeward and the windwards have northerly and you have west leeward end of the island. And the green zone, which is Kingston, actually is towards the most southern tip of the island. So it's actually an hour and a half driving towards where the volcano is erupting. So the safe zone people will not really be able to see the volcano from there. I'm saying this just to give an assurance of the safety of the persons who are brought or who have been evacuated, that they are relatively safe from aspects of the hazards of the volcano eruption. But as it stands now, the move is to bring people into schools and other shelters. The demand, the system around the region is providing that kind of a support. And the Prime Minister announced there are some cruise ships that some of them I have seen outside in the outer harbor already docked to assist in housing people for a period of time and to possibly shuttle persons within the Caribbean islands that are expected to accommodate people in this process. But this process of moving persons from island to island, it may not be just like immediate because a lot of consideration, COVID-19, documentation, receiving country, etc. All those things have to be followed through before a real move could be made.
Here locally, I've heard concern about a possible, what's the word I'm looking for, connection or linkages between volcanoes. And with the explosive eruption in St. Vincent, what does that mean for Kikem, Jenny, Granitang? Should we be extra concerned with our volcanoes here?
Okay, so in concluding this short engagement, I just want to reassure Grenadians and the rest of the Caribbean, we have trusted the expertise of our scientists in the past, and we continue to believe in them, and they have provided us with useful information. As it stands, there is no science that shows definitely, according to the experts we have here, that the volcanoes, once they erupt, that another one within the region is likely to. But because the Caribbean sits on those tectonic plates, it is possible you have tremors and earthquakes that plate movement could cause the release of pressure from some of the associated volcanoes, which could include Kikamjeni and the others. But the monitoring instruments placed on Kikamjeni and placed around the other volcanoes in the Caribbean, the readings are reliable from the Seismic Research Center in St. Augustine and would give what we hope would be sufficient time if there is any activity. So far, they've not indicated, and NADMA could confirm this, that there is any unusual activities associated with St. Vincent and La Soufrière.
Appreciate it. Superintendent McIntrye, thank you so much. I'll let you get back to Sedima's business now. Appreciate it, and we'll continue to keep in touch.
Yes, please. At least one of the things that people should start looking out for, based on the height that the plumes have gone into the atmosphere, that ashfall could be one of the things that could be expected. But because of the wind flow, that is likely to more affect the countries further to the north rather than Carriacou and Grenada. But that is also a possibility. Okay, noted. Thank you so much, sir. We'll keep in touch. You're welcome. My regards to everyone. Thank you, and stay safe. Thank you. All right. That was Superintendent Sylvan McIntrye representing Sedima in St. Vincent as we continue to keep our eyes on La Soufrière. As he just stated, it was this morning that an explosive eruption was recorded at La Soufrière. According to the UE Seismic Research, it was recorded at about 8:41 this morning. So we continue to keep them in our thoughts and prayers. Evacuation is ongoing, actually, and we hope all the best for our brothers and sisters in St. Vincent. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to get into this morning's open phone line. This is To The Point, GBN and Classic FM.
So we see what taking place, girl?
If I tell you what taking place, I go in Chutong. All where I go, people call me Ligaro.
They call you Ligaro?
Ligaro.
Yeah, but
like that, my name now.
But you ain't look like a Ligaro.
No, I'm not a Ligaro.
I mean,
I get a job less too, you know.
But you more look like the Baku. The what is called the Dracula, because the Dracula is a shot. Well, I mean, that don't mean you're shot, you know. I just telling you
Mr. Man,
how the things go.
This is the Dracula. This is the Dracula.
But I hear,
and this here is the Baku. You don't come today, but that is the Baku.
I hear he had Dracula up the place Monday.
Mabuya.
Well, not day too, but on where they had plenty people up there in that way. I hear all cutting up on there. It says Dracula. You know?
I hear the Lata Bless was in Mabuya.
So,
but the Baku was in
Batway.
Batway.
So that's why all this thing going on there.
Okay. And you see how it closer up north, eastern side, Dracula, Baku.
But I will tell you all about the real Dracula because I know of two experiences with Dracula. So Friday on Week Culture, be sure to join us, folks, and I'm going to tell all you about Dracula. And scholar about Dracula too. I don't know why he ain't come today. He's supposed to be here. But in any event, I'm going to tell you all about the Dracula. And just in case, a Dracula raised me once in a shop. So join us Friday and you will hear more about it. You see you coming or you afraid?
I scared already.
Welcome back to The Point. It is 10 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock. It is at this point in the program, we're going to get into the usual open phone line on To The Point. The landline number 435-2041. The WhatsApp number is also 435-2041. Please only written messages on WhatsApp, and you can also share your thoughts and your questions, concerns on the GBN Grenada Broadcasting Network's Facebook page and the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel. Open phone line where we give our viewers and listeners an opportunity to share their thoughts on the program. Let's go to our first caller. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Morning.
Blossom, the early broadcast is the best one.
Okay.
Anyhow, let me tell you this. I'm very much concerned about the vaccination being administered to us in Grenada. I do not have the authority to say that they are not good, or they are halfway good, or three-quarter good, or full good. But my consideration is every one of us like freeness. Maybe because the vaccination are free, we take them. But freeness sometimes doesn't always be very good. I would prefer that the government get vaccinations that are well thought of. I'm not saying that this one is not well thought of, but all over the world, people are scared of it. Freeness don't always be good, eh? So why is it that we can't spend $20, $40, or $50 on every person in Grenada and pay for vaccination rather than getting them freely? Now, this is my concern. Maybe are willing to take the virus, and I would encourage, not the virus, the vaccination. And I would advocate that nearly all of us should take the vaccination. But I'm a little bit scared for the simple reason I do not have so much faith in that particular vaccination. So I would recommend to the government to see if they can take out or ask everybody or donate maybe $20,000, $40,000 and multiply it by 100,000 people. And then I think we would be able to buy those, maybe I would use the word more authentic vaccination. And then our country would be much, much healthier in the future. Try to do the things. Doesn't matter if you're spending more money. Maybe, Blossom, I don't think you'll put a wall house on wooden pillars. So because you'll soon lose the wall house. So it's better to put the pillars with wire and get the house last for a long period of time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, caller. Let me see if there's any other message on the social media before I go back to the landline. All right, no messages on the social media. Landline number 435-2041. WhatsApp number, it's also 435-2041. Please, only written messages on WhatsApp, and you can continue to share your thoughts on the GBN, Grenada Broadcasting Network's Facebook page and the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel. Yesterday, on Talk to Things Thursday, a number of you shared your thoughts on the appointment of the CEO being a non-national, CEO of the Grenada Tourism Authority being a non-national. And I did promise that I would get to some of those comments that I didn't get to yesterday, once time allows. So let me take this phone call while I scroll down the WhatsApp to find those comments. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Blossom.
Morning, how you do?
Well, I daisy weeks now trying to get you what I can get through.
Oh, well, you get through this morning.
Yeah, what I call I have with the people that just come and say about me. I'm 85 years of age. And just so I ain't seen nobody for weeks. In the money people.
So let me understand. So some people are supposed to be coming to you to take care of you?
Yes, ma'am. Once in every Tuesday. 2 persons used to come. Well, a long time I ain't see one. Well, the last one that called me on the 3rd of March, she tell me she ain't coming this morning. She going on holiday. I say, well, who coming? She said, no, I don't know. No, nobody don't coming.
Have you reached out? That's under the Ministry of Social Development or the Imani program itself?
The Imani program.
So have you reached out to your officer, your liaison officer?
No, well, you see, I can't move out as I want it, and I don't know the number. Miss Steele is the mistress of the program.
Miss whom?
Miss Steele.
Miss Steele?
Yes.
Okay, so hopefully somebody's listening. I don't have a number at the tip of my... remind me of your name again?
Donald Ferguson.
Donald Ferguson?
Yes, ma'am.
From where?
Paraclete.
From Paraclete. Okay, so I would look for a number and see if I can get in contact with somebody and inquire and let them know that you need assistance.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. All right.
Thanks.
Hopefully somebody is listening as well. The assistance usually provided to the gentleman under the Imani program. So I guess this will be elderly assistance program. Not sure the official title, but if somebody is listening, somebody can get in contact with the Ministry of Social Development in the meantime as well. Until I finish my shift at 10, I can't call at the moment. So if anybody is listening or anybody can reach out to them in the meantime, please feel free to do so. As he said, it's been a while. All right, so let me see what is on the social media. Let me go to Facebook. Wow, Facebook. Somebody is imploring once again on Facebook that the government needs to educate people on the vaccine. And somebody else on Facebook says, what we need to worry about are the side effects of the vaccine and how safe the influx of the Vincentians would be in light of the current disaster. In the event that the St. Vincent nationals are evacuated to Grenada, according to NADMA, the Ministry of Social Development government, each person that is... Hold on, I'll tell her just now. Let me take that phone ringing. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom. How are you today?
Morning, I'm good.
Okay. I'm calling again about this piece of building that Limaki Mall building to the road there to the corner. Again, I'm calling on the government to do something about that. Make sure that they don't build a piece of a building there. It's too close to the road. They're already making them people walk in the road. But that building is too big for that little area there. It's too close to the road. Before they build it in wood now, like they putting it in wall. And I call on the government again to make sure who in charge in the government, like planning, environment or whatever, please check out that piece of building there. Because if they could do it, everybody could do the same thing too. Because when that man was building his building in town, the modern photo studio, they make him break down the piece because they say it was too tall. So why they can't do the same thing too? I'm calling again for the government to look into those things and make sure it don't happen.
Have you reached out to physical planning to share your concerns?
Listen, I did that one time, you know what they tell me? And NDC, they say it was a ticklish situation. So our government again, because I talk to Mr. Steele, I talked to many times about it already, and like nothing happening. Maybe it's another ticklish situation again, because I don't understand. If everybody decide to do that in Grenada, what's going to happen? You understand?
Well,
not one set of people could do it and some cannot do it.
That was under NDC, so I suggest making another attempt. The response just may be different. You never know. You won't know until you try. So try contacting physical planning.
I told you, I tried already before. And you do a call planning division already for saying that start happening. I called them already before. I didn't see nothing happening.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Okay,
thank you. Right, the St. Vincent evacuees. According to a news release from the officials yesterday, in the event that there are St. Vincent evacuees coming to Grenada, they will be quarantined and by not request, but by order of St. Vincent officials, everyone that is going into a government shelter, and I believe the ships that are evacuating them, they would be given their first dose of the vaccine. So anybody that the government is, for lack of a better word, handling in terms of the evacuation from St. Vincent, they will be given their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. And in the event that they do get to Grenada for shelter, they will be placed in quarantine as per Grenada's entry protocols. So at least we have that assurance from officials that the protocols will be in place in the event that we get evacuees in Grenada from St. Vincent. All right, let me go back on Facebook. Facebook says, my prayers go out to the people of St. Vincent. I hope life can return to normal ASAP. Let's continue to cross our fingers and keep them in our thoughts. Good morning. Good morning, caller.
Hello, good morning, Blossom.
Morning.
Blossom, I take this opportunity to compliment the Minister of Works on Nolan Cox and the tourism officials that had that cabinet press briefing too on that last one. I want to say that listening to them, it provides a lot of hope for us as a country, especially in the construction and the tourism sector. Listening to the chairman of the Hotel Association and the other officials, I believe that, they did well. And, where Grenada is pointing to and heading to in the light of all the circumstances internationally, I just want to say hats off to them, and I ask our people to take the vaccine and prepare ourselves as we move forward in the economic recovery and so on. And to the people of St. Vincent, I want to say my prayers with you. And we as a people, we have to look at our brothers and sisters locally, regionally, and internationally. And we must not come down when an international person pay heed to the advertisement to get a job. We are one people, and we must not push this kind of attitude and so on. We have to work as one people. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, caller. You do the same. Enjoy your day today as well. Somebody on WhatsApp is advising that the caller, the senior citizen, the program is the Gren Case Caregivers Program. So the person provided a number, so I will try to get in contact with officials of that program. Somebody on WhatsApp, did they get the vaccine they say is one shot? The one-shot vaccine is the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and not that I know of. So far, we are still operating with the AstraZeneca vaccine, and we are expecting the Sputnik V vaccine as well. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom.
Morning, Tanti. How you do?
Hanging in there, not hearing you. I can't get to talk to you at all. Whenever I pick up the phone, it's all busy. And the only one day you have President Thursday, I can't get the phone. The line is always busy because I want to talk to Blossom.
Well, look it get through now.
I want to know how you spend your Easter weekend.
It was good. Everything was great.
I hope you take lots of rest because
yes, I did.
It all. And I keep praying for your safety every morning. You leave home to go to that studio. You do so well in the air with us on the air. Use our everything. Use our teacher. Use our helper. You do a lot for the world. Blossom, I want to tell you this morning that we have to pray for the people in St. Vincent because each one pray for one. When something happens to your country, you have to pray for the other side. If they need help, where help is needed and we could give a help, let us go on and give a helping hand. We have to pray for family, friends, and the whole entire world. We have to live with love. Without love in the world, we are nothing. Love one another, help one another, and give to one another. I ask God to bless them all and save them from this volcano thing because it's a dangerous thing. If it comes up, everybody we too will feel the pinch of it. So what we feeling down here is the smoke, but there's the fire behind. So let us learn to love and serve the Lord and help one another, give to one another. What God gives to us, we share. Share our love with our brothers and sisters. I want you to have a blessed weekend. Take care of yourself and your health, your family, your mom, your loving mom who has given you a loving daughter. She share you with us, and thank God for you.
All
your
right.
husband and your daughter and all your family.
Thank you, Tanti.
Remember, Tanti, in your prayer.
I will do so.
I'm older every day, looking young, but still the same way we're getting down in age. I have lots of pain when the day comes, and I take it to God. He's my healer, and He heals and take my pain away. Let us give thanks to God.
All right.
Do what He asks us to do. Love one another. Love your neighbors as you love yourself.
All right. Thank you, Tanti. Love. All right. Somebody on Facebook says, I think government needs to stop pushing the vaccine on Grenadians, but educate them on it and let them make up their mind if they should or should not. But making smart threats like countries and airlines will not be accepting people who are not vaccinated is a wrong way to go about selling the vaccine to Grenadians. WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp is stating, where is the National College Geography class? Where is St. John's Christian Secondary School Geography class? Volcano erupting, an opportunity to put theory into practice is lacking. The same idea for Grenek and economics class. Where are the intellectuals? Okay. Another WhatsApper says This is the Ministry of Social Development constituency. So here we go. Minister of Social Development's constituency. So here we go. Your constituents need help. Call help. Your call-in program. Heading your office. Sit down, get in taxpayers' money. Do your job. The poor and vulnerable are trampled on to get a vote. They need them. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, Blossom, in relation to the vaccine and things, I don't like the attitude. You should educate people. Before that, the government announced that they will be taking in people from St. Vincent, and I want to applaud them that. But I just want people to know that is what was not this government's decision alone. The OECS heads met, and they have decided that if there's an eruption, that they will take in a certain amount of people from the OECS, there's a heads. So the government's saying, well, we're thankful that they're doing that, but they're looking as though, from far as I see, I could be wrong, as though it's a big thing and they're taking in people because this and that and that. It was a decision by the heads of governments that they will take in people. And if it was a case that happened in Grenada, the EC heads would have met, and they're taking us also, because I remember during Ivan, the OECS heads met in Barbados, and a lot of children got educated in Dominica, St. Lucia. I know a lot of people in St. Lucia, Dominica, and also Barbados. So the government boasting, they didn't do nobody no favor. It was a decision. But getting back to the vaccine thing, I don't find that you should, while I understand the rationale, because they want to get back to some semblance of normality and you go hurt the economy. But I don't like how they're going about a vaccine this, and you can't come here and you can't come there. Because I was saying the other day that the European Union and all these other countries and the United Nations saying that all these things is illegal. You can't say that, because the distribution of vaccine, I think I talked about it here before, it's unequal, and a lot of people didn't get vaccinated, and there's demand more than supply. So a lot of people wouldn't get vaccinated in the world. So you can't have these sort of restrictions coming into people saying you can't do this and you can't say that. And also, I was listening to BBC the other day, and it would appear to me that because there's a problem with this AstraZeneca or whatever they call it, the one that they're using in Grenada here. And people are downplaying all the thing about the side effects. Yes, we know that the benefits outweigh the risk with the blood clots. But in Britain right now, they're not giving AstraZeneca, well, this is what I said alleged, for ages between 18 and 30. And why is this government, or why is this heads of governments in the Caribbean giving people AstraZeneca between 18 and 30? Because the British government, stop it. They said they're going for that age group between 18 and 30, they're using the Pfizer or the Moderna. They're not using the AstraZeneca, and that is what we have here. So I'm calling on, and everything you say in a genuine way. First thing they say, to this woman, she getting on the radio, she hate Keith Mitchell. It's not a matter of hate Keith Mitchell. I'm calling on Keith Mitchell. If they could review those things,
okay,
and don't, because it's a serious thing. We're not saying that we're taking the vaccine. Don't push it on people, and try to see if between 18 and 30, don't give people that one.
All right.
Probably you could get other ones with options, and to see what to take for what age group.
Okay, thank you very much, caller. Somebody on Facebook says in relation to the vaccine, they've all had their concerns. Just this morning, not this morning, yesterday I saw a report of a site in the U.S. that have temporarily shut down after almost 20 people had adverse reactions to the one-shot vaccine, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So they all have their issues, and as the health officials have said, each country makes their own decision based on happenings there. So I guess if there is a concern in Grenada, in the Caribbean, in relation to what age group gets the vaccine, I guess then they'll make a decision. But as of now, there have been no concerns in the Caribbean as yet. So let's see what happens. And it's AstraZeneca they're administering because that's the one they have on hand. And once the other vaccines become available, if and when they become available, then they'll start to distribute that as well. But as one official, I can't remember if it was the minister or the CMO, But they did say that they can't wait until they get all, for lack of a better word, brands of vaccines. They will distribute what they have still, and when they get Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, then they'll start administering them. But in the meantime, whoever wants the AstraZeneca can get the AstraZeneca. All right, back to Facebook. Somebody on Facebook says, I think it's a good move to insist that any evacuee into the country must be vaccinated. Also, there should be strict measures put in place for the movements of the evacuees. Somebody else on Facebook says, Paraclete is the Social Development Minister's constituency, so this shows she doesn't know what's going on under her nose or her neighboring village. Poor and vulnerable people are suffering under her watch. Let me go to YouTube. Somebody on YouTube says, I want to know when the government will get rid of the big stone around the corner in the coconut Mount Parnassus. Someone will die. As I usually suggest, you contact the ministry, that would be infrastructure, the Ministry of Infrastructure, and let them know. You never know. While they may know, go on the assumption that they don't. Maybe no member of the ministry passes in from the coconut. I don't know. But contact them directly and let them know your concern. So at least that way they can say they didn't know. Think about it that way. Let me see. Landlines? No. So back on WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp is asking, who is responsible for the vehicles left on the side of the roads? Can the government department responsible do their job? That is a program I have a concern about as well. I remember a few years ago they spoke of an initiative or a project to clean up derelict vehicles across the island, and they were distributing notices and placing them on the abandoned vehicles to encourage the owners to remove them. Maybe that project has stalled. You never know, they might come and say COVID-19 has put a pause on it. COVID-19 getting blamed for everything these days. So maybe, hopefully, they'll start that project again soon, because it is ridiculous. Okay, so there's no call, so let's go to a quick break. This is Open Line on To The Point. It is Friday, April 9th, 2020. We'll be right back. There's no better way to start your day than with me on Good Morning Grenada. Good Morning Grenada is your one-stop shop. We have information, education, entertainment, your bi-weekly traffic cam, and we link up with the sister isles of Carriacou and PT Martinique. Join me every 6:35 on weekdays for Good Morning Grenada. It's your daily dose of all things Grenadian, mixed with just a little bit of crazy. Good morning, good morning. I said just a little bit of crazy. I tell all of the things that take me. Good Morning Grenada, 6:35 a.m. on weekdays, available on all GBN platforms. Start your morning off right.
Can you spend wisely and have more savings? Yes, you can. Learn more with Money Matters on GBN Television. The Money Matters series explores 12 top ways to save money. In this series, you would learn how to save by setting up your spending money right. Save on vehicle loans, home improvement projects, your credit cards, and even on prescription drugs. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 7:15 for Money Matters, a lighthearted conversation with financial planner Tali Francis. Follow the rebroadcast on Thursdays at 6:50 p.m. and on Sundays at 7:30 p.m. Money Matters is a financial literacy public awareness program sponsored by Republic Bank Grenada. Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Hey folks, you're invited to tune in to Grenada Music to the World program, hosted by Eugene Gittens on Saturday mornings from 10 a.m. to 12 noon on Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9, Hot FM 98.5, 98.7, GBN TV, and all their social media platforms. The only totally local music program in Grenada, representing all genres of music. So it's Green's Music to the World on Saturday mornings from 10 a.m. to 12 noon on GBN with the music icon himself, Mr. Eugene Gittens. See you then.
Grenada's chief medical officer has ordered that all confirmed positive COVID-19 individuals, their contacts, and members of their household must remain in quarantine or isolation for 14 days.
Welcome back to Open Line Friday here on To The Point, where we give you, our viewers and listeners, an opportunity to share anything you think we need to be made aware of. Again, the landline number 435-2041. That's also the WhatsApp number. Please only written messages on WhatsApp, and continue to share on the Facebook page and YouTube channel. Good morning, caller.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I call back. There is a person what call and talk about the TV the last time.
About
the in Union.
Oh, right.
No, up to now, we don't see no things since October month last year.
Okay, I'll remind the technicians.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Timmy, remind me to remind the technicians. Somebody on Facebook says, I am not convinced that staying more. I'm assuming that's Simon. Hold on, I'll have to read through that message to verify what is being said. Hold on the Facebook. I'll be right back. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Morning.
When next I become the Prime Minister of Grenada, I would make sure I cater for everybody. I wouldn't cater for those who are interested in one type of vaccination. So I would bring in different classes of vaccination so that people would make their choice or their choices. This is what is happening to us. You cannot push down things to people as a leader. You have a right to advise them, and at the same time to take possible their advice.
Okay.
So this is what I want to advocate.
Thank you very much, caller. You've called already on the program. Let's leave the line open for others who may want to share. Somebody on YouTube says, how come there's a vaccine for the virus and they don't have one for AIDS? There are treatments for HIV. At least that's something. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, my dear. How are you?
I'm good. How you do?
Good, thanks, sweetheart. I think this caller must listen and know what's going on about the vaccine. Thank you very much, sweetheart.
Thank you very much. Going back on Facebook, somebody on Facebook's right. I am not convinced that Steele and his sidekick Worm will be up to the job of protecting us during the Vinci crisis. Who is Steele and who is Worm? As Vincentian officials? The names are, well, kinda. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm calling to make a point. I find, I don't live in Grenada, I live abroad, but I find Grenadian people small-minded. And they're not reading why they're too much political. And religiously too. Sometimes confused. If there is a problem in St. Vincent with refugees, the UNHCR, which is part of the United Nations and all these big bodies, will come in. And the people in St. Vincent will be evacuated to the neighboring Caribbean islands. And they will send UNHCR workers in wherever those people are based. For example, let's say SUG will take some and perhaps other places attacking our Grenada. And they will be looked after by the UNHCR through the UN. And the countries who accept those refugees will also benefit. For example, when the Somalians was going to Kenya, take a lot of refugees from Ethiopia, Sudan, wherever when there's crisis in those places, they go over to Kenya and Kenya make money from it. A lot of people I went to school with in Canada, they went and worked with the UNHCR. So all this little petty politics in Grenada about government go take in and thing. If Vinci refugee come to Grenada, then the UN will step in. It's not the Grenadian government will take care of them. They will look after in Grenada, but with assistance from the UNHCR. So they are what you call not refugees based on political conflict, but refugees based on what you call natural disasters. So I don't know what in Grenada, why we turn around with so much things. And the next point I want to make before I go is a Barbadian lady coming to Grenada to take a job in tourism. I don't see nothing wrong in that. There are Grenadians who hold big job in other Caribbean islands. So it's not everything we should politicize. And I was surprised Mr. Roller when he talked about Grenadian, somebody was speaking Grenadian language because he is very disrespectful to Grenadians who speak like me. I was born in rural Grenada, and I keep my accent. I live in Canada, and I love it, and I'm proud of it. So I was surprised when Mr. Rolo tried to play politics, that he is so much Grenadian when he is more British than Grenadian. Anyway, that's my point.
Thank you very much, caller. Enjoy the rest of your day. Let me go by Facebook. A lot of comments on Facebook. Somebody says, I want to zero in on the Sister Isles with what is going on between Bishop's College and Hillsborough Government School. I think it's unfair how the children of Hillsborough are being treated, where they want to kick them out from their school to accommodate students of Bishop's College. The Ministry of Education knows for 2 years they will be undergoing that project and should have a place to keep the students of Bishop's temporary as their home until they can return to their school, but not pushing around the students to 2 or 3 days a week, not going to solve the problem. Things like this happens when there are square pegs in wrong holes, and we have a lot of them in this administration. Good morning, caller.
Hi, good morning, Blossom, and to all your followers.
Good morning.
2 quick things. The last caller, he has a good point about the matter of the UNHCR. But evacuees are not necessarily refugees. Most people, there are generations of people in the Middle East who live their entire life. They're the second or third generation living in refugee camps. And that's where the UNHCR comes in. But somebody who is just temporarily displaced because of an emergency, which we hope may not widen, just for a short term, the UNHCR doesn't necessarily get involved in that. So it is more or less humanitarian at the local and regional level, and we hope that it won't get to the point where we have to bring in international agencies. So let's pray for the best. Okay? So this is different from refugees. They are just evacuees, temporary evacuees, we hope, and short-term ones at that we pray. Secondly, the matter of the appointment at the board of the Grenada Tourism Authority, which is still making the waves, and I think I spoke about it a couple of days ago. And as I have said, I do not support this whole matter of insularity. She is not the first. I was the first in 1993 when I left Grenada and became a director of tourism with the Turks and Caicos Islands. And, well, in that time, you could imagine the hue and cry. How can somebody promote another country, and what do Grenadians know about tourism and things of that sort? So I am not taking that kind of position. My concern is, if we have decided or we have determined that tourism is a major pillar of our economy, what have we done to develop our people in that field? When I went to the Turks and Caicos, the tourism was less than what we were then. Now they are but probably 5 times what we have, and they are being managed by a local person, someone who was one of my very junior employees at the time. So they have a much bigger tourism industry than we have, but it's managed locally. Because I had the privilege of going back there 4 years ago, and I was very impressed at the number of young people. Some of them hadn't started when I left there 26 years ago, and they are in leading positions. So the problem is not that we have a foreigner. The problem is that for the last 4 appointments, we've had to go outside of Grenada. And none of these people made more than a single term, right? None of them made more than a single term. And it shows a lack of training, a lack of foresight, of development, of succession planning, that we still have to keep looking outside. And this is the problem. The problem is not as a foreigner. How long will we continue doing this in a sector which we said is the prime engine of growth? And this is where, to me, that issue is a bee in my bonnet for me personally. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. I meant to make the distinction on the difference between refugees and evacuees. It just slipped my mind. So thank you very much for that, caller. Somebody on Facebook says, we have to be cautious, but we cannot discriminate in a crisis. A number of our students went to a number of Caribbean countries to complete their studies after Hurricane Ivan. Another Facebooker says, 30-year-olds have to take another vaccine because of blood clots. I live in London, and it's true, 9 people have passed away. Let me go by WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says, do we know how the volcano eruption will affect Granatang, as it said they are linked? Well, you probably missed the beginning where Superintendent Sylvan McIntrye says, basically, be safe. Can I say it like that? And according to the experts and the scientists, what's happening in La Soufrière would not affect our volcanoes here in Grenada, be it Granatang and or Kikemjeni. Another WhatsApper says, some people have confidence in vaccine more than God. You take it at your own risk. Whatever happens to you, no one is responsible. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning, Blossom.
Morning.
Yeah, my problem is, I know a Calypsonian sing a song one time, and he said, Captain, the ship is sinking. Shall we abandon ship, or shall we stay on it and perish slow? He said, the captain said, when you said, shall we abandon it and perish slow, he said, if you see the ship sinking, jump off. You understand? So if you feel that the vaccine wouldn't do anything for your Blossom, you stay and perish slow. If you die, you die. If you survive, you survive. But it leave up to you, Blossom. Blossom, it leave up to me, and it leave up to everyone to do what their mind tell them. You know, so if you're in the ocean and the ship sinking, and you want to abandon it, or you stay on it and perish slow. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Appreciate that. Facebook. Somebody on Facebook says, nobody said they are forcing people to take the vaccine. You don't want to take it, then don't take it. It's time we listen and leave who want to protect themselves with herd immunity to take it. We all read about AstraZeneca and other vaccines, so don't take it if you don't want to. Yes, Facebooker. I am aware the volcano is erupting. For those of you who just joined us, as we started the program, I facilitated Superintendent Sylvan McIntrye, who is currently in St. Vincent as part of the SEDIMA team. And he did advise that there was an explosive eruption at La Soufrière volcano recorded at approximately 8:41 this morning, which is just over an hour ago. So we continue to keep the residents, our brothers and sisters on the Sister Isle of, not Sister Isle, well, yeah, we could call them Sister Isle, on the island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in our thoughts. So good morning, caller.
Good morning, Doctor, and morning to your listeners and your viewers.
Morning.
Where ignorance is bliss, 'tis folly to be wise. We have been creating a cadre of ignorant people at all levels in the country. In fact, one of my teachers, who's dead now, says that we have saturated a whole lot of educated ignorance. Now, people normally take a little piece of thing and mix it up and think that they're talking sense. I will not go there. But in the case of the UNHCR situation, you would hear many times the UN agencies calling for assistance. They need money to be able to fulfill their mandate. It's not always that people get the kind of help. Look what happened in Rwanda. genocide, preceding the genocide and so on. I mean, we always think, well, international organization, this and that. That's why we allowed the IMF to come and organize the regime to put us in this thing, and we acquiesced to them. Anyway, another point is, in relation to the woman from Barbados, I was speaking to a long-time friend of mine from Barbados yesterday. We were friends for about 40 years. And she was saying to me, the first thing she said to me, because only people are not educated enough. She was saying it in a joking form, but then she quickly said, that could never happen in Barbados. She said, if it happened in Barbados, it has to be done through a process. And what she said, it has to be advertised first for people in Barbados. And if there is not suitable people, then they will announce it for the larger public. And I think that makes a lot of sense. You give our people preference, or you make an effort to let people know. And in some situations, I've already done it. Now, another situation in terms of the payment of WRB, what this regime did was learn from what they did, the injustice they did in Grenada during the Taiwanese loan. And they were rejoicing when the previous government was in office, when the government faced the difficulty of not being able to transact business. So they took in front. This is not about us, this is about them. And everything is about them, about the group that is running the country, not about the local, not about the general thing. Even as we talk about disaster and we think about our neighbors, what are we doing here to prepare our people for any eventuality? One of the things that is necessary is efficient organization.
Okay.
Look how they are marginalized the NADMA. Why Mr. Sylvan McIntrye not unable to play a major role, which I'm sure he would like to? Nobody's asking that question. Let us ask these questions.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller. Let me get to the final comments as we wrap up. Somebody on Facebook says, I live in Canada and we don't choose the vaccine. This caller must get his not this caller, a previous caller must get his facts straight. I am joining in with others in prayer for the people of St. Vincent, as the Bible said, love your neighbors as you love yourself. Let me go on YouTube. No comments on YouTube. Back on WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says, I remember there was a fire in Bellevue area of Bolio and the fire trucks couldn't get to it because there were vehicles in the road inhibiting their passage. Was anyone ever charged for that? I heard this last week that there was a fire in the valley with a similar situation. We need to charge people for blocking our streets in a manner that would inhibit emergency vehicles. I agree. Something needs to be done. I recall could be months by now, a fire truck was trying to get inside Mount Hartman, and the way the vehicles were parked, they were obstructing the fire truck from passing. And the fire truck stood in the road, tooted its horn, made an announcement. The driver of whatever was the license plate, come and move your vehicle. The person did not come to move the vehicle. And the truck reversed out of Mount Hartman to pass another direction. I think it's through Lansapine. And fire blazing, it was a bushfire. Fire blazing in the bush. Had I been driving a fire truck, that vehicle would have been down in the bush somewhere. Figure it out after, because you're blocking me. But they waited and then they left to find another route. These things shouldn't be happening. I don't know. These things shouldn't be happening. Just leave it there before I see other things that'll get me in trouble. Final two comments on WhatsApp. Somebody says, I want to give my 2 cents on the GTA hiring of the new CEO. We've been hearing that tourism will be coming back in June, where some of the cruises will be sailing to different ports throughout the world, including the Caribbean. So I think the hiring of Ms. Roach is preparing to open up our ports and borders, and I think why government is not paying the 4% of public servants until December is to invest more in tourism and also to keep the union silent for that period, because if there is unrest, it will not be good for tourism. And the final comment that I can read this morning, tell Mr. Bernard, instead of talking, take action, volunteer and help in their field. All right, that's all the time we have for Open Line on To the Point today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, we keep our brothers and sisters in St. Vincent in our thoughts and our prayers at 8:41 a.m., which was just over an hour ago. An explosive eruption began at the La Soufrière volcano. And according to the UE Seismic Research Center, this is a culmination of the seismic activity that began on April 8th. The eruption is ongoing and more information will be shared as things progress. According to Superintendent McIntrye this morning, ashfall was expected within 5 minutes since the explosion. Reports coming out of St. Vincent that I've seen so far is that ash has reached as far as the Argyle International Airport. According to the wind direction, most of the ash should be blowing northeast, so islands like Barbados would be getting it, but it is not impossible that we can get some ash on the sister isles of Pitimatni, Carriacou, and maybe even as far north as St. Patrick. So please keep that in mind for those of you in the northern parts of the island, and everybody continue to stay safe. We have the situation in St. Vincent unfolding. COVID-19 is still very much present. Hand, foot and mouth disease is around, which is the usual time of the year for our children. Dengue fever is not as prevalent as it was late last year, but it is still a concern. So continue to protect yourselves, your loved ones, your family, your friends. Please continue to stay safe. Have yourselves a safe and productive Friday. Joseph is up next with Mid-Morning Buzz. I'll be back on Classic tomorrow morning, God willing, for Soca Saturday. Until then, have yourselves a blessed Friday.